I want to talk a little bit about ego. Ego. And when we were just talking about what you're really doing here on the planet, there's a part of your ego that says, I'm going to be important, I'm going to maybe famous, maybe rich, but your number one priority is I want to do something for this planet. That's a real common thread with all of you. I want to do something for this planet. And then you start thinking, well, that was my ego. I knew Sigmund Freud. I really did. I really did. And he popularized ego, the whole term. It wasn't really talked about much prior to that, but he kind of helped define ego and popularize it and get people thinking about his ego, but he also villainized the ego. That was the sad part of his work. Villainized the ego like it was a bad thing, like it was your shadow. He made the ego to be kind of a negative, and even today people say, well, you have a big ego. Well, okay. Gee, thanks. Yeah. By the way, there's no size to ego. You can't have a big ego or a little ego. You can't have you can't have a bad ego or anything else. An ego is just an ego. Ego, derived from the Latin word I go, or some would translate it as being moving forward or just moving, doing something. Ego. It's actually the ego is a beautiful thing in so many ways, but it's kind of villainized, kind of made to seem bad. Let's take just a moment to feel into the human ego. Let's take a moment. Just the word. What kind of feeling does it bring up? Ego. And Linda with a microphone. I'd be curious. One word that comes to mind to define the ego. One word.
Power.
Power. Yeah, okay, good. Linda, you just keep running with that microphone. Ego, power.
Self.
Self, okay. What kind of self, though?
My individual identity.
Okay. What kind of identity? Is this something you want to have more of? You want to have more ego, less ego? Something you need to work on? Does your ego is something you need to work on?
I don't work on mine as far as I am aware.
Okay. All right. Others?
Oh, yes.
You ever accuse somebody of having a big ego? Or just think it even?
I've certainly thought it.
Yeah, okay. Anybody in particular?
Yes. Shall remain nameless.
Okay, good.
Could be.
Ego. What word comes to mind when we talk about the ego? The ego.
Nancy wants the mic. She won't hesitate. Right here.
No, she was going to give a good one.
Wait,
I
Nancy's going to give hers first, then she'll come back.
I wanted to hear what you were going to say.
Okay, go ahead.
The essence of the human.
Okay, yeah.
The human.
Nice.
The human. Okay. Okay. I won't add my words yet.
For me, I think it's a part of the Trinity
Part of the Trinity?
of myself.
Yeah, divine, master, and ego.
Yeah.
Okay. You like your ego? Yeah. Okay, let's keep going with words. We're just getting warmed up. Ego, what does it bring up?
Pride.
Pride? Okay. Let's keep digging in there. Ego.
Conceit.
Conceit? Okay. Have you ever been conceited?
I think so.
You think, yeah. You probably have been, and that's okay. Part of the point here in this is that there's so many kind of negative attributes attached to ego, conceit, and being arrogant and pompous and all the rest of that. As we continue our discussion here, just really feel into all these words, all these attachments to ego. Please continue. Ego.
Self-aggrandizement.
Okay. Have you done that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you felt bad about it?
Yes.
You get slapped down?
I slap myself down.
Exactly, my point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You slap yourself down. Boom. Wow. Geez.
Bad alley.
Oh, bad alley, and such an ego, and oh, just you're.
Just be quiet.
Yeah, right. Look what happens when you stand out. Yeah.
Can't it just be confidence?
Just let them, please.
I'm one of them.
Please.
I'm one of them.
I'm one of them. Okay. I know who's next on the microphone.
It's got to be sardisms.
Sardisms. Yeah. Ego.
The bad part.
Yeah, ego. What word would you give?
Just
I don't
guilt.
know. Pardon?
Guilt.
Guilt. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
the look on your face said it all. It's like
Yeah.
ego.
It's
okay.
it's a guilt of doing it
Yeah.
to other people.
Right. Okay. Good.
Yeah, and right after you do it, you know it harmed them.
Yeah. So you think.
So you think,
You want to think.
or
Yeah.
so you want it to happen that way.
Yeah. So at your worst with your ego, what happened?
Oh, it had to be the worst when I was drinking.
Yeah. How did drinking affect your ego?
It let me say anything that came up.
Right. And you did.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. And did you ever get in trouble for it?
Oh, never.
Yeah. Right. And so when you stopped drinking, did you blame a lot of it on your ego, or did others blame it on your ego?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So what'd you do with the ego?
I threw it in the suitcase behind me, and
Well, no, first you beat the crap out of it. Then you put it in the suitcase behind you. And then you still went and kicked the suitcase from time to
yeah,
time.
then I kicked the suitcase out the car.
Did you redeem yourself and your ego when you quit drinking?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
You still battle that ego?
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah. Is that why you get in that great, big, huge earth-moving equipment, and it's like, you got that power coming through, you might as well dig some dirt?
Oh, that helps.
Yeah.
Definitely helps.
Could you imagine if you were the CEO of a big company? I could not.
God help the employees.
Exactly. Yeah, because that huge ego. Oh my gosh, you would have been right in feeding country. It would have been like a smorgasbord for the ego.
I would have had to hire new people every morning.
Right. But with the work you do now, you're out in nature, and you got some big equipment. Nobody's going to mess with you because they know that D9 is going to come and take down their house the next morning. So
I tell them, remember, I have big dump trucks.
Right, exactly. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
A couple more on ego. What words come to mind?
Let's see.
There's a couple we're missing here, a couple really important ones.
Now I'm confused.
Now? Now you say?
Now I'm confused.
What comes to mind? I say the word ego.
Ego, as you said, ego is like secureness of myself.
Yeah. It's
On
yourself.
one side.
Do
And the other side can be selfish,
Selfish.
just
Okay.
thinking on myself.
Do you do that very often?
Try to.
I try to. Yeah.
Try not to.
Oh, try not to.
Yeah.
That's sad. Wow.
I am.
Where does this all come from that it's bad to take care of yourself? Where the hell did that come from? Exactly. I'm not going to do a lot of church bashing anymore. No, I swore it off for New Year's. Yeah. No more church. You know why? Because I don't need to anymore. Last year, a year ago, when we were talking here, and I asked for your observations on what was going to happen in 2018. And my conclusion was the falling apart of the church. And church, I mean generically, of all religions. And to me, that's still the biggest thing that happened last year. Not the thing that made the most news, but you see, when a society has myths, and religion is all myth, when they have myths, and the myths help shape and form their communities, and their values, and their morals, and their laws, which is what the world pretty much has. You have a lot of myths, religions, and beliefs that formed social values and ultimately laws. So you have that like up at this level. You got this, I guess you call it stability of the planet, the way it operates. It's all based on these values that originally came from myths. And the myths, it's not actually just about the churches, you know it today. It goes far, far back, even further than that. There are the myths of the Incas and the Mayans and the Aboriginals and all the other things that predate Christian myths by 5,000 years. Egyptian myths that predate that even by another 25,000 years. So myths build the social values and structures. It's the gravity that holds everything in. Well, now what's happening on the planet is that the church is deteriorating, falling apart. Whether it's Christians or Muslims, the Jews or any others, there's a huge lack of respect and a lack of, I guess you would say, belief in a lot of these old religious values. If it had been me guiding one of the churches, I would have said, kind of update from time to time. Let's get over this whole thing that women can't be priests. I mean, that is so old and so stupid. Let's update from time to time, but they're so hell-bent on holding on to their old ways. So now it's crumbling apart. You're seeing it on the surface, some of the stuff, the whole thing with the Catholic Church and the priests and the sexual abuse that has been taking place for far, far longer than anybody would want to admit. It's not a recent epidemic. It's been going on forever. That's causing a lack of confidence and faith in faith. And when you don't have faith in faith, you got big problems. So the underlying structure of the myths is deteriorating. People aren't believing or following the churches anymore. That starts to rattle everything on the surface. How community and country and morals and values and business were built. So that's why I say the biggest thing that happened last year was the continuing deterioration of religious values on the planet. And it's going to make a huge impact, particularly this year, as it crumbles even more. And it's not per se that, it's not to say the Catholic Church is going to go out of business or the Methodists are going to find a different method. It is. They might, but it's meant to say that those do not have nearly the effect on the consciousness gravity on the planet as they once did. And as those kind of erode away, so do values, which you've probably seen if you watch the news. Values are falling apart. The inherent gravity that holds beliefs and laws and everything else kind of together is falling apart. So that's kind of what's happening. And then you get a character like President Trump in the office, and he's really kicking the crap out of all that. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's what the people deserve. It is, absolutely. No, and there should be a kind of a fundamental respect for that. And I'm not being political at all. I would not vote if I was on your planet right now. I'd do what Tobias said, stand behind the short wall and laugh. So where were we? Ego. Okay, I need a few more words here. Lights up a little bit because Linda's going to run into the audience.
Right here.
Ego. There's a few words we're missing here.
To me, ego is duality.
Duality.
or judgment. Because if I'm not an ego, then it's unity and things are just as they are.
Yeah.
It would be, I guess, what you call allowing.
Uh-huh.
So to me, there's my human mind or ego mind and
Yes.
spirit mind.
Okay.
So anytime that
interesting.
I am in judgment, I
Uh-huh.
say, oh, that's my human mind. What would my spirit mind say?
Right, right.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that's
interesting.
mine.
Now you got a conflict going on between the two. That's very wise. Thank you. I just need somebody to say it. Gary, is it going to be you?
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness. Yeah. Is it good self-awareness or bad?
Neither.
Neither?
It's just awareness. It's
Okay.
It's a knowingness of.
Do you rely on your ego then for more self-awareness?
No.
No. What do you rely on for more self-awareness?
What do I rely on for more self-awareness?
If you're not getting it from the ego, well, where are you getting that self-awareness from?
From what I sense, from what I feel.
Okay, fair. Good. Because you kind of bypass the ego.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
hopefully.
good. Good answer. All good answers so far. I miss the days when I could really pick on you for bad answers. I just so miss that. I made great stories when I went to the Ascended Masters Club. Couldn't you come up with some stupid Machio answer? No, no, I know you could. You could. Go ahead, sir.
It's a human confidence. And I
Human
think that
confidence.
humans look down on it because humans look down on themselves, but it's a human confidence.
Okay, good. Great. I'm still not there yet. I need a
Henrietta
couple
thinks
more.
she knows the word, or she
Okay.
thinks you want to pick on her.
That both.
Self-preservation.
Self-preservation.
It
Okay.
is, because the larger the ego, the larger the presentment, the person is really trying to make sure that they're solid and firm in this human presentment to the world. They're trying to preserve themselves.
But what's the fallacy in that? You're getting there. So it's self-preservation. It's your, I guess, your defense in a way.
Yes.
It's your protection.
It's
But
because the human is afraid to go into nothingness.
right. Well, they're afraid of everything. But
Yes.
so you've got this ego that you kind of manufacture, and then you inflate it. You pump it up, and part of it's self-preservation. But then the ego kind of gets off on its own track and starts believing its own stuff. But what's inherent in what's the problem? Let's stop the movie for a minute. You got this big ego. What's the problem with it?
Because I think it's real. I mean, the larger the ego, it's real to that person. It makes it firm and solid, and their human presentment.
What's the real problem? You're getting really close, and you're inspiring somebody that's going to give the answer here in just a moment. And
Self-judgment and projection.
that's getting there. We're almost there. Self-judgment and projection. You got this ego that is kind of inflated, that's kind of pompous and arrogant, but it's the identity and it's you. But what's the problem with it?
Fear.
Almost there.
Fearish.
No, okay, and I'll give you that. The judges, the judges give you that. But I'm looking for another word. We're so close, so close. She's gonna go to the toilet. Yeah, just make something up, anything.
Recognition.
Recognition. Yeah, okay. I would have made up something different.
But I was actually going to say kind of what Gary said. Human self-awareness. When I think of my own ego, it's.
Do you have an
who I
ego?
am
Do you have a
as-
big ego?
I have an ego. There's no size, but I am aware of this human.
Do you have a dynamic
Oh,
ego? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What's the problem with your ego?
There's nothing wrong with mine.
That said it all.
Yeah. And you should add on to that, and what's wrong with yours?
Yeah. Yeah. What's wrong with yours?
Ego, I'll give it away here. You were so close on this, Tad, but ego is fragile.